She covered for me for an entire month. She lived in my house. She drove my car. She took care of my chickens. And it was awesome. There is nothing that I would change about the scenario at all. It was the most seamless transition, I think, in history, maybe. It's a bold statement, but it was so easy. And she could call me anytime if she needed to. My staff could call if there were issues. We told everybody, like, just don't hesitate. We're going to try something weird and new, but we're going to go for it and see how it goes. And we're actually planning to repeat that this summer, I think 2 or 3 weeks to go to Yellowstone.
So I guess this person became part of your practice.
She did. She's part of our family now, actually. So
Which is great. That helps with work-life balance for you because truthfully, with your hours, if I was interviewing at your practice, the first word, boy, you work a lot, doc. I can't do that. Work-life balance. Not me, but the candidates would say that.
Yeah. You got to be flexible and figure out what people need at any given time because it changes.
Yeah, I'm not sure how long you've been in private practice or in practice, but over time, did you ever work in the paper world or straight into computers?
I think my first year of residency, maybe we had some papers, but not.
Mostly
No, I've always had EHR.
Yeah, so you've never seen how a practice would run with paper, how it transitioned into an EHR and so forth, right?
Actually, you know what? Now that you mention it, I did rotate with a pediatric office that had paper in either medical. It was medical school.
Yeah.
I mean, it was quicker.
It was quicker, but we didn't write anything.
No.
We didn't write anything. And, truthfully, a lot of those 99214s probably were 213s on the paper version. If you did too much writing, you were inefficient. But since you're in private practice now, what are some of the biggest challenges that you think you're seeing in private practice? Staffing, doctors, mid-levels, time off?
My gosh, I think my biggest woe currently is mental health care for patients. I don't know about your practice. I am inundated with adolescents and teenagers that are addicted to their phones who are not physically isolated, but very socially isolated, and trying to provide care is daunting. I would say that is it's actually, clinical woes rather than business administration. There's been ups and downs with that, right? There's always something. Getting Beyfortus was difficult last year, and my patients didn't really want it. It was nice that people weren't banging down my door when I couldn't even get it. But let's see what else. Staffing was an issue for a hot minute, but I'm really loving my staffing right now. So really, it's providing mental health care, protecting myself because I've done a bit too much of it and gotten very sad and tired. So having to say no is sometimes really hard.
Yes.
And so, what are your resources? Like, I don't know. Like your hospital is big enough that they still take care of kids and inpatient in Northern Virginia. The community hospitals have all abandoned pediatric inpatient and ER. It's only the children's hospitals do it anymore. So if you have a kid that needs an emergent psychological evaluation, is there a psychologist, a psychiatrist in town you can call?
No. I can call somebody in Portland, which is 3.5 to 4 hours north of here. So they have a phone line that I can call if I need help. But if they're in crisis, it depends how bad it is. If they're acutely suicidal and trying to kill themselves, I send them to the ER and they'll put them on a hold and put them in a room to keep them safe. If it's a kid who they're not trying to kill themselves, but just saying, gosh, I'm having some dark thoughts and I don't know if I can be safe. Sometimes I'll tell the parents you have to just exist with your child until this, and here are some red flags to take them to the ER. But in Douglas County, we have really minimal resources. We have minimal people prescribing to children, or not children, but adolescents mostly. We have a few very good therapists, but they're overbooked and underpaid.
The therapist thing is a problem even in Long Island. Nobody takes any insurance. And if they do, you can't get an appointment but in 4 months. What are we supposed to do with this?
I'm lucky in that because I have such a small community of people, I have some phone numbers that I can call or text and say, hey, I've got a kid. I really need help on this one. And sometimes they can squeeze them in, which has been really nice. But without those relationships, I wouldn't be able to help my patient.